with the biggest page because when we cut our pattern paper, we want to go from biggest to smallest. So this is page 8. And for this page, I have one at 8 3/4 by 7 3/4. And one at 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. And we are going to score this bigger piece of paper, a 1/2 inch on both sides. So I'm going to score at 8 1/4 and 1/2 inch. And remember, this is 7 3/4 by 8 3/4. Okay. We'll need this again. Keep that close. Lost my tape. Did you guys see that? Okay. If we did this right, that 7 3/4 will fit right on top. Make sure, yeah. Line them up at the bottoms. Alright, there's our base page. All our base pages are going to be like this. They just may vary in size. Now, next we're going to have one at 8 1/4 by 7 3/4. And we're going to score on the 8 3/4 side, or I'm sorry, 8 1/4 by 7 3/4. Score on the long side, the 8 1/4 side at 1/2 inch. Okay, and then we have one that is 7 3/4 by 6 1/2. Score on the 6 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then one that is 4 1/2 by 7 3/4. and score at 4 inches, or you know, 1/2 inch from the side. And then I have one that is 4.5 by 7. Score 1/2 inch on both sides. And one that is 5 by 4 3/4. Score at 1/2 inch on both sides. These two are both 4 3/4. So one's 5 and one's 7. Score at 1/2 inch on both sides. Okie dokie. Alright, this is your base page. First thing we're going to do is take the longest piece, and this is going to open this way, and you can do a decorative edge on this side if you'd like. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I had like a dog bone punch or something, this would be a cute opportunity to use it. Okay. And then bring our base page back over. And because these were almost the same size, if I hadn't put anything there, it would have blended in, I think. So that's why I chose to do the border punch. Okay. Now, this is the open end here. So I'm going to line up my border punch edge on this side and line up the bottom edge, and it's going to give me like an 1/8 inch here, which I want so that I can open it without interfering with the spine. Okay, my next longest piece . Is going to sit right next to this one. So I just line it up with that. And we can always put a border strip here. That'll be cute. And then my next longest piece, ditto. So there's that part of the page. And then I'm not quite done because I want to put a pocket on these two. And let's do it on the inside. And you can use glue on these instead of tape. I'll probably switch halfway through simply because I get tired of pulling the tape off. And we will need our glue, however, for the bottom of the pocket. And you want to make sure that you have just a tiny bit of room on the fold side, even if it sticks out a little bit, which it does. If you rub it, you can remove the adhesive if you rub it enough. I have an adhesive eraser. If you don't have one of these, definitely get one. Okay, and then the same on this one. Now, there's 2 of each page design, but because our gussets get smaller, our pages get smaller too. So even though there's 2 of each design, they're altered by size. And in this case, they're also altered because I don't add this smaller piece because it would be kind of worthless. There wouldn't be anything that would fit on it. Okay. And again with the glue down at the bottom of the pocket. And again, line it up on the right side of the fold. And if you want your pockets on the outside, you can put your pockets on the outside. It doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, there is the construction for page 8. And now we'll do the matting. Okay, now let's do some paper selection here. And I'm going to leave the backs to all the pages plain. So this one will simply be just a big plain square, and it is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. So since it's going to lay here, this is very busy. Let's find something that isn't so busy, and I think we'll use the let's use the authentic let's use the gray to pull from that. So this is Silver Dollar 2, and we'll cut it at 7 5/8 by 7 5/8. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this page in. When the sun goes down, you guys, the lighting won't be so bad. There we go. All right, so there we go. We'll use this side. And when we're all done, we can always come back with stickers and decorate these photo mats or these matted pages. To go this way. Line up with the outside of the page. Okay. Now, you're not going to see a whole lot of that page, but I'm still going to keep this outside page kind of plain. Now, we have the decorative border here, so let's just go to, the whole thing is 7 3/4. Let's just go to 7 1/4, leaving a 1/2 inch and that border. So 7 1/4 by 7 5/8, and the 7 5/8 is the long way. So I like these houses. Let's use these houses. So 7 1/4 by 7 5/8. Yeah, I like that. I'll give you some nice big spots to put photos. This one I'm going to line up with the back part here. And then I'm going to need another 7 5/8 by 7 1/4 for here. I'm going to use this. I'll use the blue. I like the blue. Oops. Lining it up with the inside, leaving about 1/8 of an inch. There we go. Okay, and remember we have this here. I'm not going to cover that right now. Let's see what we have in scraps left over. And we'll see if when we're done it even makes a difference. Okay, this one is 6 by 7 3/4, so we're going to measure this 5 3/4 by, let's do 7 1/2. And I can do a pattern on this one, I feel like. because this one is plain. Okay, so I said 5 3/4 by 7 1/2. I'm using the dog tag paper. And then this side here, we can use our scraps. I'm not fond about this side of this paper. I could use this one, which is the other side of that. This is going to be 3 3/4, and it's the same as before. Okay, now let's do, yeah, yeah, 3 3/4 by 7 1/2. And then this will cut at 4 inches. So this part goes here. And this part we tuck right down in here. There we go. This here ends up being, and you can cover this flap. So it's going to end up being about 6 1/2 by 7 1/2. Let's use I think we'll go for this doggy paper. I feel weird when I cut part of the dogs off. Lots of room for pictures. Oh, hang on, it's not gonna make it. Did I cut it wrong? Let's butt it right up against this here. Leaving just a little. There we go. And then I think on this, let's do have any with a lot of yellow in it. Let's see here. That one out. How about I like this for the bottom. We're gonna go at 6 inches by 4. Ooh, that was not 6 inches. Oh, I measured that. I shouldn't have. Yeah. This is exactly 6 inches, so I'm gonna cut like a 1/4 inch off. Okay. So that's gonna be like 5 3/4. And then up here, I think I want to do this polka dot. Yep, I like that. And then we're obviously going to need some tags. But let's get the pages put together and then come back through and decorate. Okay. There we go. There's page 8. Since we're going backwards. And every page is going to have a tag. Page 8 tag is 7 1/4 square, and we'll decide what we're going to do with these later. Like they're going to sink all the way down in, so we're going to have to put a tab on them, and we'll see how we're going to decorate them. All right. So let's go to the next page. Page 7. Okay, so for page 7, that's 7 1/8 by 7 1/8. That's how big it's going to be. And then one piece that is 7 1/8 by 8 1/8. And this is going to be the one that we score at a 1/2 inch on both sides, on the 8 1/8 inch side. So that's 1/4, 7 5/8, and then a 1/2 inch here. Or you can just do a 1/2 inch, flip it over, do a 1/2 inch. Whatever is easiest. make our pocket. And then I think we'll go ahead and stick this page on before we add on all the stuff. I just, depends on how I feel that day. To how, what order I put them in, I guess. Okay. Always line it up in the middle and then along the bottom. Alright, let's go ahead and stick him on. I guess if you stick it on first, you can't make the mistake of putting all your stuff on the wrong side. There we go. And then make sure I'm making the right one. Yes. Okay, these two measure 3.5 by 7 5/8. And we're going to score both of these at a 1/2 inch just on one side. And these are going to sit here. And they hang over a little bit, so I'm going to trim off like 1/8 of an inch. I would rather them be a little short than too long. So with the folded, I just made them 7. Just do a quick fit up before you glue these down. I always don't get enough here. Okay, and I'm going to start on the outside. Just line this up with this outside edge. Double check for a fit, make sure it doesn't hit anything over there, and we're good. And go on to that up right up against that one. So now we have 2. And then let's add some pockets. These are cut at 4.5 by 2. I'm going to try and score one and see if it fits up. I have a feeling we'll have to like trim a 1/16 of it off. Let's see. No, those fit well. Okay. So scored a 1/2 inch, 4.5 by 2, scored at a 1/2 inch on both sides. And there are 6 of these all together. Whoops. Okay. Now we take our 2-inch strips, and I think I'll just use glue for this. Take 2 for the bottoms, and they get stuck on just the way they are. Glue on both flaps and the bottom. And these will be cute spots to tuck, like 2x3 photos and journaling cards. Okay, now these we're going to take scissors and we're going to cut at an angle about a 1/2 inch or so off. And then if you want a long pocket, you can not glue the bottom. If you want a short pocket, you glue the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom. I want all short pockets. Okay, so I did 3 sides and just tuck in, slide those 2 creases, or oh, what do you call this? You just slide these diagonals here right into that pocket. Okay. There we go. I'm going to do the same for the other side. Glue on 3 sides. And the last one. Slide these down in here. One is way bigger than the other, and I'm not sure why, but I'm not going to change it. Okay. Alright, let's mat the back here. And this page measures 7 1/8 by 7 1/8. Let's go 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 because it's not quite 7 1/8. So looking at this paper, let's play off of the navy. Have a piece that I cut into for the spine. There it is. So 7. What did I say? 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. I like that. That's a good compliment. Okay, and then we're going to need another 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. Let's get a pattern. Ooh, how about this one? I like that one. Center it. Okay, and then let's do this because I have these border strips, but I think, yeah. So these are 3 1/2, right? Yep, those are 3 1/2. So let's cut these at 3 1/4. That one's going to fit there. I don't think I have one big enough for that. Had I used the right measurement, it would be better. But that happens. I'm not worried about it. Still got some red showing here. It's really noticeable when you put it on white paper. Okay. Tuck him in here. They're all different sizes, so I'm kind of just putting them where they fit. This one's got like several layers of border on it, which is fine. Okay. I still have these, so I'm going to cut a 3 3/4 off of there. And see. I think the only one big enough is the house one here. No, I'm going to cut it off above the house one. And then I'll use this at 2 inches. Oops, didn't have it cut down to the right size. 3 1/4, not 3 3/4. That's what I went wrong. Okay, I'm gonna put this one here. See, I cut that top part down so it would fit. And just the houses will fit, so I'll go ahead and cut those. Put him right there. And then, so I need 3 more at 3 1/4 each. I have this strip that is exactly 3 1/4, and I can use the beige and the blue. Maybe one for 1 3/4. We'll just do 1 3/4. So we'll do those, and then I'll put a strip across this to make it a bit different. Okay, I like it. Like it's not all one size there. And then I can, or don't have to, put this across there. This is going to be covered up, so let's just leave it. And then we have our 2 flaps here, which we're going to need 3 1/4 by 6 3/4. I like the red on that, and I do think we need a solid color because of that pattern, but I only have, I don't want to use the blue again, So that's not going to be enough to do both of them unless I put a border strip on there. Let's do that. We're going to cut this at 3 1/4 by 6. And then let's cut both of them. Where do my border strips go? I have this one and found it. This one. This one's not as thick. I don't know if that one's thick enough. Yeah, maybe. Let's try. I'm going to cut both of these off at 2 inches. So I have one 4 by 3 1/4. And one 2 by 3 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and glue these down. This is how you make your paper stretch. I'm going to glue the bottoms down. This is a great candidate for that. There we go. And then this is crooked. I think that was the best option. I tried to find something that went on there, but alas. Alright, I think that works well. Alright, and then we'll come back and put tucks in here.